Hello and welcome to SaaS Marketing Insights, the show where we ask SaaS founders, CEOs, marketers and investors about the lessons they've learned in their quest to grow their companies. My name is Paul Stevenson and I'm founder and CEO of SaaS marketing agency 47 Insights. On today's show, I have an interview with Dave Gerhardt, Director for Marketing at Drift. I caught up with Dave at SaaS North in Ottawa just after a talk he gave on the need for conversational marketing. Hope you enjoy it.
Dave Gerhardt, in case you didn't know.
I knew you were now.
I'm just kidding. I don't have my name tag because I just took it off. But
From Drift?
I do marketing at Drift, yeah.
Yeah, and you've just literally come out of your session.
I did.
So where does the Drift story and Dave start? How long you been there? How did you get started in SaaS in marketing?
Yeah, I've been there for 2 years, basically from the beginning. They did a couple things before, but I got connected with David Cancel, who's the founder of Drift. I actually had a podcast that I did on the side where I interviewed founders and CEOs in Boston, and I had him on my podcast. And I was like, this guy seems like he really knows his stuff. Okay. And I found out around the time they were looking to make their first marketing hire. And so, I sent him the note the next day, and the rest was history. That's how I started at Drift. Before that, I've worked at HubSpot and Constant Contact. So I've spent most of my career in, just by coincidence, in SaaS marketing, doing marketing at SaaS marketing companies. That's been my whole career.
That is such a great pedigree, though.
It's been amazing. I couldn't have asked for. I think of it as like my MBA, like to be able to spend from 23 to 30. I'm 30 now. Like that's where I spent that time working at those companies. Has been amazing to be able to learn from the people and the businesses that they built.
So you just did a presentation on No Forms, which is. I'd like to call it a campaign, but it's not a campaign. It's an ethos behind Drift now, isn't it?
It is.
It's a movement.
It's a movement. I met, I ran into 5 people I've never met before in my life today, saying like, I'm such a big believer in what you all are doing with the No Forms thing. So yeah, I think at first it was a campaign, and now it's something bigger than Drift. It's a movement for sure. Yeah,
and I love the way you've ripped off the Salesforce software, no forms thing. It's trademark.
We put our trademark on
I saw that.
Yeah. No, I don't think they invented the no sign, but No, I love it. That is, of course, we're big fans of.
Tongue-in-cheek.
I mentioned, at least to be fair, I plugged Salesforce book in my presentation.
You did.
And that is one of my favorite books on SaaS and marketing. So I think we knew that, and we're like, we might have an opportunity to do something, especially in the SaaS world. I think that resonates with people, so definitely. I think that's why we did it. Yeah.
So, so the whole No Forms thing, I'm completely on board with. Love it, and it's long overdue. So,
cool. Cut.
It's done. My background's marketing, donkey's years, a lot of SaaS marketing, but it's exactly what you said about forms. So I've been, for the last 5 years, a form hacker. Basically, I'll read the source code, I'll see it's HubSpot or whatever, I'll go, right, there's the redirect page, I'll just go and get the PDF. I don't want to fill out the form.
So you'd go just put the URL in yourself because you knew this.
You can read the source code. You
know the file.
Forms. Yeah, or you can just search for the PDF. It's indexed on the website. There's a million different ways of doing it.
Yep.
It's really sad because, as you said, you don't want that disruption of somebody. It's not the right time for you, or you just want the content. You don't want to.
I think I don't know where we're going with the forms thing, but I think it's worth mentioning. It's actually not. To me, it's not so much about the forms. It's more about the way that we all buy is just different than it was when that stuff first came out, because we're all on our phones, I can find anything. I never met you before today, right? But if I had known I was going to meet you, I could look you up, I could find out what you've done before, I could figure out everything I needed to know before I met you, and then we'd meet, and it would be like I already knew you. And the same thing is for how people buy from businesses. So it just seems silly to basically, say, here's this fence, you can't come past here until we know you're ready, when somebody's telling you, I already know all this stuff, I am ready, I have a specific question I want to ask you.
Yeah. So it's like the oldest thing in business: know, like, trust.
Sure.
And then people buy from you, right?
Yep.
So I guess one of the thoughts that I had around what you guys do and the removal of forms or otherwise is like forms generate leads, marketers are measured on leads. You know, you alluded to that in your presentation, and I think, you know, a lot of marketers are kind of nervous about the notion of not, you know, being formless, being form free.
Formless, I like that.
So, you know, how would you go about reassuring your fellow SaaS marketers that they can get rid of their forms, they can use Drift, and it will work?
Well, so I think the biggest misconception is we didn't say stop capturing leads, marketers, right? Like, we just said
you don't need that.
We said no forms. We said no form. There's a different way to capture leads
Yeah.
now, and for us, it's through real-time conversations,
Yeah.
because those are the people who are the most interested on your site. So I think it's just shifting the model to, you know, give away a lot of stuff and then ask for the email, as opposed to say email then I give you.
Yeah,
you
or
know.
here's this ridiculously long form with like 10 fields to fill out
Yes.
before you get.
Right.
You know, it's like the balancing act.
Yeah, you don't need my mother's maiden name so I could read your ebook on Snapchat filters. Like, so that's. But I think, you know, I think also technology has gotten so good where marketers can get so much data without having to have somebody fill out a form.
Yeah.
So, you know, we work with a company called Clearbit who does data enrichment and
I know those guys.
you know, we're able to know like which companies are visiting our website, right?
Yeah.
And match that with what they're doing, and so you're able to get all of these things now that typically you would have had to say, no, I need a form because I need to know your company, I need to know your job title. We can figure out most of that stuff before somebody even comes to our website now.
That's cool. So, going back to kind of your career and whatever. You've had some great experience, HubSpot, Constant Contact. What would you say has been your biggest kind of SaaS marketing insight? Something that you came across or dawned on you? Is it what you're doing now with Drift, or
I think so. I think it's all related to what I'm doing now at Drift. I think the biggest marketing insight is that the best marketing is to be real and to be yourself. And that seems so obvious, but that to me has been the biggest insight. And it's obvious, but nobody does it. And that's what's been liberating for me over the last 2 years is like our marketing strategy is just like, this is something that David pushed me to do from day one, which is like write plain text emails like you talk, right?
Yeah.
Right. You know, the first thing he had me do was, he's like, you don't read any of the SaaS marketing blogs. Go study like David Ogilvy and all the direct response copywriters and I didn't get why he was doing it first, but now it was like, oh my God, that has been the most influential thing on my career is to go back and study all those things, because there's two things. Number one, those guys had to get you to they had to mail something to your house, convince you to buy it. You had to then mail them something back, and then you got your thing, right? And so like if you think about SaaS is easy compared to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to say that my career started in direct mail. So.
Right, but think about that. Think about now the hot thing in marketing is direct mail, right? Like everyone's going back to doing that. So number one, it was that, but number two was like the writing style and the tone, which is like I always thought you had to be a marketer, and what I realized is the best marketing is when I'm just being real and showing you who I am and talking to you like the way I would talk to you in person. That's helped change the way that I think we do marketing. That's been the biggest lesson for me.
Cool.
More so than any one campaign or one hack that I've learned.
Yeah. How do you keep mentally, physically, what is it that you do to make sure that you're the best for the job that you do? Because it's easy in this business, in marketing and in SaaS, to just get burnt out. Do you have any kind of habits or ritual or crazy shit that you do?
Yeah. So I think number one is like I have this constant paranoia that I'm not very good at what I'm doing.
Imposter syndrome.
That's it. Exactly.
Everyone has that.
It's imposter syndrome. Like
normal.
every single day, right? Yeah. And whether it's speaking in front of a room for people, doing an interview, I don't know, creating a page that, writing copy for a page that's going to get hundreds of thousands of, like, things like that every day. I'm like, am I really the best person to do this? So I think that paired with a chip on my shoulder is what keeps me to always be going. But the part of that is, it's not just the imposter syndrome. It's the knack for always be learning.
Yeah.
To always want to be learning. I'm always listening to podcasts, reading books. I'm obsessed with how other people do marketing and learn, because I feel like this is always a gift and a curse for me, which is I need to know how everything works and how everybody else does it. So I want to know, like, wait, is this podcast set up better than what we have? Should I be doing this? Like, is the audio good? Is the video good? Like, these are the questions. And it's a gift and a curse, because I can't get outside of my own head. I have to figure all that stuff out. So it's like it's the imposter syndrome. It's the fact that I always want to be learning, and just the way that I get better is I invest. I just try to invest in a lot of that stuff. It's too hard to fake it. If I didn't love this stuff, it would be hard to wake up on a Sunday morning and read about marketing. But I really do love it, and so that's the stuff that I'm reading at night and on the weekends and when I'm home hanging out.
And the podcast that you used to do, you no longer do.
Yeah, Tech in Boston. I retired. It's retired. I just, I got to Drift, and Drift took off. I just didn't have time to have a side project, and now I have a wife and a baby, and it's just impossible. But
they're much bigger side projects.
Yeah. My vision, I think, my longer term career goal is after Drift to just be. I'm just going to be a traveling podcaster. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Well, a lot has to happen.
Dave, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed my chat with Dave as much as I did. For more info on Drift, please visit www.drift.com. Next week, I'll be talking with Greg Davis of Intercom. For more info about this show and to get our links to iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher and YouTube, please visit www.47insights.com/podcast. And if you have any SaaS marketing insights that you'd like to share on the show, get in touch via that page. Until next time.